Okay, here's our little band of courageous bodhisattvas in training. And
Aspiring.
what do we want to know? What do we want to say? What are you wondering about? What's happening in your practice?
I have a question.
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah. Something's happening a little bit in my practice where the object I use during calm abiding, it seems a little clunky because it seems like it's something to attach to. So that even if there's nothing else necessarily happening in my mind at that moment, it seems like the solidity of whatever my object that I'm using like reinforces my own solidity.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what to do about that.
Me either. Well, first of all, you're noticing. That's what we do. That's the first thing we do is, seems like there's a me and object. What's that like? Is that so? Are you working with a visualization or your breath? Or?
I usually either use an object in
an actual physical.
Well, sometimes I use a physical object, or other times I use my breath.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So I think my question is like I understand emptiness or shunyata like in a kind of cerebral way, you know, but there's still that solidity there. You know? Yeah.
What's your expectation about it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure really. I'm wondering, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Well, how many people have this kind of experience in your meditation that there's a solid self, a solid other things come and go?
Yeah.
This is, you should look around, it's pretty common.
I'm not sure what's meant by solid.
Like you still think there's a separate self that's meditating from whatever your object is, or if you're meditating with no object, still some sense of solid self. In other words, you haven't realized emptiness to the level of a 10th level bodhisattva.
Well, yeah. It's like the difference between knowing, I guess it's the difference between like knowing it intellectually and experiencing it.
Yeah. Because you see, this is how I get it from teachers and my own work at it. For eons, we've been practicing this habit of solidity, of the opposite of emptiness, you know. And so it's going to take us quite a while. So that's why I say noticing is really good. There are many people on the earth right now, by far the majority, who will never even be able to ask the question you're asking because it will never occur to them. This is how precious what we're doing is. Now, what I notice is in myself and in others, we really want more. And we really want it soon. And we really go after it. And all of those things are in the way. Wanting is in the way because it's not being with what is. Wanting anything different, wanting the moment different, wanting my thoughts different. That's already the grasping.
Right.
So Nothing wrong with it, nothing right with it, just out. I mean, it's a pretty high state to get to some sense of no self.
Yeah.
No self? Are you kidding? I think there's a self 100% of the time. 100% of the time. So the Gelukas talk about chiseling away at that conceptually. Many, many kinds of meditation. And not just the Gelukas, but the fundamental path, the Pali. You know, you said, what's here? Skeleton. When I think of myself, I never think of a skeleton. Never. I think there's a kind of a self, you know. And we can do a whole meditation, which can be very useful, deconstructing that.
Mm-hmm.
What do I think I am? Pretty soon, what it seems like is there's an I that's kind of an owner of the body. It has to have a body. It doesn't exist without a body. But the body is not enough. You just have the body laid out, you know. That's not going to be it. So it has to have consciousness. Well, what the heck is that? You know, there's 54 mental factors, the 6 constant mental factors, there's the 6 levels of consciousness from very, very obscure to, you know, the ultimate Dharma Kaya. Wow, where's that? Does it have a location, color, smell, taste, touch? Nope. It's ephemeral. But the I has to have that going too. And then all these 5 senses, there's no I without those. So you get those all together, and what part is the I? None of them.
Yeah.
So what's the I? It's a huge conglomeration based on this set of aggregates, plus a whole lot of conceptual jnana. And we've been cultivating that forever up to now.
Right.
Forever. So we need to encourage ourselves, but I love this thing and come back over and over again to the Kagyu path of no hope, no fear. I have no hope of changing that. No hope whatsoever. But no fear that I won't either. I just practice.
Mm-hmm.
Just practice, and the focus of the practice is the mind. And you always call on the guru, the energy of the guru, to assist, to give the blessing, which really, they do bless us. They've blessed us with all these teachings. We are blessed. So, am I
That helps a
touching
lot,
on it?
yeah.
I mean, it's a great question, Ryan.
Well, I think that what resonates with me most of what you said was just that feeling of like ambition.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know, like I do have experiences of like, you know, thoughts or feelings or bodily sensations, like they come from nowhere, they dwell nowhere, and they go nowhere. So I've had those experiences, but I think I definitely feel like, oh, good, I've had those experiences.
Yeah,
so
right
now,
there.
ooh, I get to go further.
Right.
You know, so like
And
that
as
ambition
soon
or
as
something.
we judge, good,
Yeah.
that was good.
Right.
I noticed in this last session, I totally caught myself doing that, like, ooh, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that little ooh, just
Yeah.
slippery slope.
Yeah.
I'm now commenting, I'm
Mhm.
making the whole story. That was really la-la, and, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
You just come back gently, precisely, and firmly over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Just do the practice, and those just grow. We don't have to, we have to get out of the way. You know, this I needs to get out of the way. But we can't really push it out of the way. We
Can't force it out of the way.
Yeah, we can't force it out of the way.
Yeah.
It will go if we just practice. We just practice with the guidance that we have learned. over and over again. And I don't know about you, but that's my experience. I'm looking around. There are people here who've practiced for years and years. Is that a shared experience that the eye kind of goes down? It's not so wildly reactive? I mean, if that's not happening, then the practice isn't working, frankly. So, yeah, so I'm Jace nodding, Jeff is nodding, that you get some sense of less reactivity. Someone was asking a while ago about how do you measure, whether your practice is fruitful, or that wasn't her word, but what I've always heard from my teachers is the measure is, are you a kinder person? Are you less reactive? Are you, that spaciousness that comes, so you're not, someone's in your face and you're not right back in their face. You have some space, So that's the proof of the practice. And to expect ourselves to do that without practicing, it isn't going to happen, because we've practiced the other things so many times. We're going to do what we've practiced. And I love that someone, I think Lama Michael has said, we're practicing all the time, on the cushion and off. So we have to look, what am I practicing? What am I practicing? I practice discouragement a good part of the day. I watch it off the cushion and I see myself, oh, there you go in there. There you are. You want to go that way? You've got to turn because your habit is to go that way. This is self-talk,
Right.
You've got to turn in Zopa. So how can I encourage myself in this moment? So we really do have to be quite conceptual. This idea that there's nothing to do, that's down the road for most of us. For most of us, and Mbokar Rinpoche, when he said nothing to do, he said, but up till that time, lots to do. And Kala Rinpoche said, every day, think of the 4 thoughts. Every day, those are conceptual. I've got a precious human life. I have this time, this moment. This is so amazing. You can really stay on that a long time. Think about the surroundings, a peaceful neighborhood. Nobody's shooting each other. It's not even noisy, and the little dog, he just is kind of, a metronome. Dog, where some of us are so used to him, we hardly hear him, but he was going a little bit tonight. But, it's like we have bodies and minds that can do this. We have interest in the Dharma. We have Dharma friends who will come. We have a gorgeous place. It's been blessed by all these teachers. We have authentic teaching. We're like, well, the metaphor I love, it's one from the Buddha. We're like a pauper that's digging around in total junk, and we find this gorgeous jewel, but we still don't realize what we're holding. We're almost like, oh well, or where'd I put that thing?
Yeah.
Because we're still digging in the garbage. We're still going, oh, Frito-Lays, chips, movies, another relationship, bigger house, new car, another vacation, and again, nothing's wrong with any of those, but if they become all we're doing, you can guarantee you'll get to the end of this life going, oh, darn. So precious human life. What's the next one? Depth. Right there. Right there. We're right, the jaws are like, oh my God, scary. And Lorna Death closes her mouth. Bye. New form. Hello, Bardos. And if you're not afraid of death or the Bardos, think about this. You should be scared. We should be scared. I think people who say, I'm not scared, it's very shallow. I used to say that, I'm not scared. Now that I've meditated, I can tell you, I have plenty of kind of like, oh, I really don't know where I'm going. I can't say I'm going to get another precious human life. I pray for it. I hope for it. I hope to come straight to Dharma again. But this life I didn't. I didn't find Dharma until I was like 45. That's scary. I did a lot of naughty things before that. And that's just this life, just this life. Much less life. I have no idea what kind of karma is. I know good karma is ripening because look at this. This is cool. Good karma is ripening, so did some good stuff too. But we don't know when we're going to die. We do know we're going to die. We do know every single being on the skin of the earth, they're all going to be wiped out. New ones coming in, new ones. We've done this forever, over and over. God, we're so ignorant. I can't even remember it. I can't remember dying or coming back. That's pretty thick ignorance. Anyway, so we're going to die. We don't know when. We don't know where we're going. This thing about Bardos, I was going to say, some of the teachings talk about how sleep mimics all of our states, So how conscious are you of your sleep state and your dreams? How much in control are you? I don't know about you, but hey, I'm boom, and then I'm in dreams. They are very strange at times, wonderful at others, but still, I'm not saying, well, now I'm going to think of this. And they say that's about what it's like when we go into Bardo. So why do we think we're going to control it? So good news, precious human life. Good news, death. Probably good news because, be really awful to be this old forever and getting older without control. And then karma and the faults of the samsaric mind, which wants what it doesn't have and doesn't want what it does have. That's what we grasp at. We're running away or we're running after. Oh my God. So this is why we sit. What can we do? Stop, sit, see what's happening, and then slowly get in touch with that space, that clarity, and then we can be acting from there. That was a lot. I don't know what I'm saying, but anyway, I do know what I'm saying, but I have no idea if that had to do with the question.
Yeah, I mean, it's all,
Yeah. We have to go conceptual. We're conceptual beings.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point, we get inferences and or flash realizations from our practice. Mm-hmm. Even you could have them, you could say, well, I had them as a kid. I wasn't practicing. I had them as a kid. Well, that was from past times. So we get these flashes. The thing is, we need to get a mind that can stabilize them, recognize them, stabilize them, live in it. Yeah.
Thank you.
So impatience won't be so helpful, but it's going to rise. It's good to recognize it. This is my impatience. This is my aggression, And just, hi, bye, it'll go. It'll go. It won't be there always. Nothing will. It's the good news. Impermanence is the good news.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what you just mentioned, occasionally there will be some moments of clarity, or I'm not quite sure how to describe it, maybe just coming out of nowhere, you suddenly realize the interconnection of all beings.
Yeah.
And it isn't permanent, but for that short period of time, a moment of flash, it's real. And that helps a lot because there may be more of those connections.
Yeah.
And that is a good kind of fodder and material to work with in your
Yes.
practice. That
Yeah.
there is some hopes that you will have, maybe the Japanese would call it a kind of a satori, or some kind of understanding. And it's not conceptual, you really do feel that bond and love and connection to other beings.
Yeah.
And that's very helpful.
Yes, very encouraging. And then we want to grab it. And we want to make it happen again. And that will get in the way. So, it's just our habit. But yes, they are true, wonderful blessings. It's really interesting, Sanjay, you said it comes from nowhere. Of course, that's where everything comes from. It comes from the same place. Everything comes from the ignorance, everything, out of the Dharmakaya, So appearance, emptiness, appearance, emptiness, appearance, emptiness. They're never without one another, Appearance of Zopa, emptiness of Zopa. You're never going to find Zopa over here. You're going to find a label. You're going to find concepts that you all have. If you could jump in each one's mind about who you think Zopa is, it'd be astonishing. It would really scare me. But you know what I'm saying? Because you all, there's no generic Zopa that's there that can be stuck in everybody's mind. So how you perceive me isn't how Lush does, So that right there is proof there's no Zopa here,
That's like the proof.
What?
That's like the proof in a way.
Yeah, my brother-in-law has a totally different concept of me than any of you do, believe me. And so does my sister, my brother, my son, my best friends, they all think something totally different. So where's the Zopa? And just on a scientific level, every cell is falling off and doing things, and the thoughts, the emotions, the sensations, there's nothing. Even the bones, which are the most solid thing here probably, fingernails, bones, teeth, they're losing it too. So what could I say as I, me, self? This is one of the most fundamental teachings. This is Pali level, Hinayana Pali level. There is no self there. So when we're meditating and there's that sense of self, good to notice. When we're off the cushion, sense of self, good to notice. And when you transcend it at moments, whoa, good to notice. But no grasping at any of those, and no pushing away at any of those, no even ranking them as this was the best thought, and this was the worst thought. Because you can see right away, that's solidifying and I'm going to grasp and push away. There has to be an I for the grasping and pushing away. That I is the difficulty. There is a conventional self that exists, that runs around, does its little things. And that's to be cherished, but not grasped at, but taken care of, encouraged. It's the little boat that we're going to abandon after we cross the river. You don't want to carry that boat after you're across the river. It's very heavy. So, we're going to get across the river and then leave the boat and go ahead. So that would be like leaving the I. So you can do that in a session, leave the I. Yeah, Jeff.
This is starting to remind, or that's not reminding me exactly, but it made me think of like the other side of the equation of one of the mind training slogans, which I think is not in all the lists of the slogans. That was, I'm not sure if I can remember it exactly, but it was have no opinion of the actions of others.
The actions of others.
The behavior of others.
Yeah.
Have no opinion. And what you said a little bit ago, which is the same theme you've been running with here, that sort of as an example of my own emptiness of my own self, that everyone has a different understanding of who that is. The other side of that equation is I'm holding opinions about everybody else.
Yeah.
And if I let go of them in the moment, right, when I see, oh yeah, I'm thinking thus and so about so and so, but dropping that allows for possibility of some seeing of appearance and emptiness.
Yeah.
Because I actively let go of some notion that I've come up with about somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoever they are.
Yeah, exactly. So seeing, I'm repeating a little bit for streaming people, those times where, well, you're pointing out a mind training slogan, hold no opinion about the behavior of others. Yeah. And how we can, through practice actually, create that space and see. I mean, key thing that I think you're talking about, or a piece of it, is seeing what our mind is doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm judging. I've got opinions about everybody here.
Mm-hmm.
Not, so what? People do that. I don't want to add to it by saying I'm bad to have because I have opinions or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But notice it. And then there are hundreds of ways to explode it in Buddhism. So you called it just drop it.
Mm-hmm.
See it, drop it. Then there's kind of a space there, right? Dropping it. I think I've told this story before, but it's one, it's not easy to do, so they stand out when they happen, at least for me. I had to work with this guy once in a law office who I didn't like very well, named George. And he always seemed grumpy to me and always on edge and always he was just a very anxious guy, but really opinionated too. And I had a lot more experience than him, but George didn't honor that. At all. So there was often this kind of tug about how to handle a case or whatever. And one day I had been working with my Buddhist teacher on a practice around green Tara, which is one of the deities that Tibetan Buddhism has, and I really liked that practice and I was enjoying it. And one day I went in to see George reluctantly, but I had to get this piece done. And our dynamic went off right away. I come in with, and this idea, and George is like, and I'm like, and all of a sudden it seemed this could be that feeling like from nowhere. I suddenly thought, he's green Tara. I mean, it was like so uncontrived. It was just like, I wasn't like, I'm going to think of George as green Tara. It just dropped in my head. And I just leaned in. It was like, wow, green Tara. I was like, almost like you just took a drug or something. There was space. I was no longer, I don't know, my whole agenda just fell. Mm-hmm. It was like, and I found myself just kind of leaning toward him, really looking at George and really listening, like, it was almost like this. I wasn't thinking this, but here was the experience. George is going to tell me something really important that I need to know. That was not my usual judgment about him. And everything shifted. It wasn't like now I did what he wanted or he did what I wanted. It wasn't like that. It just kind of untangled would be the experience. It untangled. the conflict wasn't there.
Mm.
It was really interesting. I don't have those all the time, but it was really
That's
interesting.
what Christians would call miracles, right?
We would call it a miracle.
No, Christians.
Oh, Christians would call this a
Would,
miracle.
would call that
Yeah,
or I
Yeah.
mean, religious people
the miracle
would call.
of Georgia's green Tara.
But all
Yeah.
those are.
Totally.
And miracles usually points to something, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Mhm.
To something that cannot be conceptualized, right?
yeah, the experience. Yeah, yeah, the experience rather
It's
than the
the
concept.
intersection of conception and non-conception.
Yeah, and there was just those moments where I didn't cling to it. It almost puzzled me in a way because it was so different, and I could never repeat it. I mean, as soon as I would try to repeat, now I'm making it happen. George is green tar, so now it doesn't work, But there are these moments of grace, miracle, grace,
Insight,
call
grace,
it,
satori,
which
you name
can
it, yeah.
fall into place. And I think all they're doing is, it's like the veil gets torn a little, and the veil is our constant conceptual mind of there's a separate karmic bubble here, and I live in that. One of the earliest things that drew me to Lama Michael was way back. He said, might have been the second or third time I ever sat here, and he said, to follow this path, you have to give up all personal territory. I was so intrigued. I thought, what's he talking about? All personal territory, what could that even mean? And little by little, I came to understand, it's not needing to be right, not needing to push the practice, the I is no longer in charge. So the personal territory is created by the I, and that slowly wears away. I still have a great big one, so don't worry about it. But no, there are these moments, and it is softer. The reactions are different. They surprise me. I like it when I know I'm not in my old habit because I'm totally surprised by what I'm doing. It's different.
I've had experiences like that where
Yeah.
if you if you realize that you're trying to fix it and make it a certain way, but then you see that you're doing that and you let go of it, then it all kind of works out, but not in a way where what you wanted to happen happens.
Yeah.
It kind of works out in the sense that just like some sort of unraveling
Magic
that,
almost. Yeah.
and it just seems like this is not what I expected at all, not even what I wanted, but it's perfect.
Yeah. I love that. I love that when that happens. And I think with practice it happens more often, that sense of, I will, what do I call it? I say to my eye, refrain, Zopa, refrain. Not reframe, but refrain, because I'm about to try to make something happen. And then I go, refrain. And even in moments, just waiting, letting that space be there, that thing happens, just what you said. Some total thing happens I would have never thought of, I couldn't possibly have. And it is so much better.
Yeah.
And the other better thing about it is I didn't have to do anything. So the stress goes way down. That's what I noticed. Living with the Dharma, the stress goes down.
Sense of
But
space.
again, it's not automatic. We have to do the study, contemplate, meditate thing, 3 wisdoms over and over. Yeah. But if we do them, guaranteed results. I mean, if you do that, that's what's going to happen.
Money back?
Yeah, no.
Over several lifetimes, yeah.
What'd you say?
Over several lifetimes.
Yeah.
I
You will receive many riches,
So save your coupons.
many riches, but they may not be monetary. Yeah. Sweet. Yeah,
I
Jennifer.
have something that's kind of on the same lines where I often find myself going into specific occasions, and there are usually occasions that I've been looking forward to, and so I really want to get the most out of them. So I know that I just watch myself go into them where I'm trying really hard to be present and to be aware of what's happening, and it's almost like that effort pushes me out and I feel completely disconnected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, and I can even say, oh, I feel a little off and disconnected.
Yeah.
But I have a tough time going to a place where I can just let it go and let it become.
Yeah.
I can't get out of that disconnected space. It just keeps
Yeah.
staying there. I don't know. Do you have any
Because you're
thoughts on that?
trying.
I think so, or I'm trying to, it's like when you go, okay, I'm going to be present right now. And so, and then my brain goes, I notice everything, I look at everyone, I become hyper aware, and then this disconnection happens where it feels almost contrived.
What do you want when you're doing that? What are you're trying for something? What is that?
Yeah, it's funny, it's like I'm trying for authenticity.
What's that?
I don't know. I want like it to be a moment where it feels like I'm there, because I feel like so often we don't notice moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's an effort to really remember this moment.
Yeah.
Or be
Well,
there.
you're going to have to stop that. I mean, you're describing it already, so you can see. I know how smart you are. So the wanting, I want authenticity, is really different from experiencing authenticity. And it will be in the way of experiencing it. No, you can tell that conceptually, right?
Yeah.
So, but it seems like you have a different question, which may be, is it so how to go there?
Yeah, I mean, I can really follow myself and go, okay, I'm trying too hard.
Yeah.
I'm disconnected instead of just letting things be. So how, and just noticing that doesn't really change anything.
Yeah. Well, it does. It starts to change it. But now you're already 3 layers up. You're judging that you're disconnected. You're not liking the disconnected, and you're trying not to be disconnected. So, So whatever we can do to, crank down from that, no judgment about it. I'm real curious what other people use, but one thing I do is try and go on my body. I call it go on the body. So what's your body doing? I'm not asking you to describe right now, but rather than all those thoughts, because you're piling up layers of thoughts, just come back to the body. See if you can identify any place it's tight or it's cold or it's, just something very simple like that can really help. That's when I can get more present. Where's my body right now? What's my body doing? And do that over and over. And then, of course, the other thing is just practice. Just keep practicing on the cushion, that knowing the interconnectedness. We don't have to create interconnectedness. We just have to get out of the way of the interconnectedness that is there, that is here, that is. There, here isn't even. The interconnectedness doesn't have direction here, there. It's is. It's an is. It's an ising all the time. Yeah. But what do other people do about that? Disconnected, and you want connection, and you,
I do the same thing. I connect the body, and I remember what Michael says often is the key to the whole thing is to relax.
relax, thank you.
So
Yeah.
just like, so, you
That's
know,
right.
just let go and relax and drop it.
Yeah, the one breath can really help,
Mhm.
you know, turn it into 3 breaths. That's the, you know, drop the whole thing.
I
Just
often also remember
3
someone in our Sangha who I once, in a group sit right here, in fact, I think she was sitting right here at the time, and I just looked over to her, at her in the middle of the sit, and I just, there was a quality that she had in her sit that was just so absolutely natural. It continues to inspire me. It was really cool. So like I'll remember something like that. It's just,
Yeah,
it's just like that. Oh, it's not what
Yeah.
I'm thinking. It's just like that. Just like what she was doing.
yeah, good that
Yeah.
you saw that. It's
Yeah.
natural. So I really like what Jeff's sharing because it's all pointing at relax, it's natural. We're not trying to do something else. The difficulty, I can say this conceptually, we're always adding something to reality, or we're always taking something away from reality, and then we're not in reality. So it's really good to see, what am I adding? What am I taking away? And that dropping to the breath and relaxing, no hope, no fear. And one thing I did notice, and I really resonated with, you said when it's like something you're really looking forward to and you really want to be present, there's the problem right there.
Hope.
You know, you're already wanting
Hope and
something.
fear, hope and fear,
Huh?
hope and fear.
Yeah, hope and fear, really big. And what I like, it's been really nice lately, more often. Like I'm thinking yesterday I went out to my nephew's house in Scappoose, and I had some anxiety about going there. And I just noticed it as I was driving, you know, and then I thought, you don't even know what's going to happen, Zopa. You have no idea. You don't even know what, you know, you're going to eat lunch, but you don't know what the food's going to be, and you don't know what anyone's going to say. And just kind of going in with that, I don't know. I don't know. I don't hope. I don't fear. I'm just here. Those let you be here. And it was just a thoroughly, totally, amazingly enjoyable time. Very relaxed. Very relaxed, which surprised me, you know. So, but I did that thinking ahead of time of just go in open. I don't know. I don't know. Don't try to know. Yeah. Go in with, I don't know. I'm here, but I don't know. Does that touch on that?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a common experience, Barbara.
I just want to say that this entire conversation has been so helpful.
Oh, good.
And the reason it's helpful is because, of course, I've observed about my own self a tendency to worry things to death.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a project manager type of personality, you know, so I lay out the project, da-dink, the schedule, da-dink, and when things don't go according to the plan, I get really upset. Then I worry about it.
Yeah.
If I could control every aspect of all
Oh,
these pieces that have to fit together in order to get to there.
Yeah.
So it's been very helpful to sit there and say, all right, now, that's my personality, and that's
Yeah.
the way I've succeeded in my life,
Yeah.
and that's how I get things going. But it's very hard on me.
Yeah.
And it's
And-
not really very Buddhist.
Well, it's,
So I would love to
Yeah.
find some way to recognize when I'm stepping into this.
Yeah.
And find a way
Yeah.
to quote relax and realize, hey, it's just gonna do what it's gonna do. I can guide it, but I can't
yeah.
change it.
Yeah.
really.
I think it's difficult because there's experiences in life where seemingly you can plan and make things happen.
Yeah.
That's what I find hard. Because seemingly I can decide to reach for this cup and reach it. Like I plan to do that, you know?
That's pretty simple.
Yeah. but even, I mean, like you described, really complex, like I want to make this vacation happen this way, and you plan every minute, and of course it never goes like you planned
Yeah.
it. But sometimes it does.
Yeah.
I mean, not exactly, of course, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a hook. So here's one trick with it, is you can't reach for that cup unless someone created a cup
Right.
and someone built a room, and you have to be here. There's so much, it's always deconstructing that I that says, I did carry out that plan. No, you didn't. Never, ever, ever are we actually, I know what you're talking about. It looks like,
looks
it
like that.
appears as
Yeah.
if I pulled that off. We even have that great saying, I pulled that off.
Mm-hmm.
No, you didn't. We have to talk really firmly to our I. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't do that. You did that with 100 billion people and animals and things that make cups and, you know,
Machines made
and
by people.
constantly remembering that interdependent origination.
Yeah.
Not just dependent origination, interdependent origination. Without all your ancestors back so far, you can't reach for that cup. So far back, you know, I don't know, maybe without the Big Bang, you can't reach for that cup. I don't know. But there's not a you reaching for that cup. And Barbara thinks she did all those plans. She didn't. I mean, you did it, you did it, you know? I mean, the way out is meditating on the interconnectedness, all the beings that helped you with every plan. And that's a limitless meditation. You are instantly into total Mahayana. It's no end to it. So, you see, so that's one really good constant challenge, and it doesn't take anything to just go, no, I didn't. I'm always inwardly challenging my I, because my I is just a nutcase, you know, and so I don't really want to follow her anymore. Every time she's in charge, I have suffering. You just pointed at it. What you do, I do too. It's exhausting, and it's irritating, and it's frustrating. But mostly I notice the exhaustion part. It's so nice to let go of that and say, I'm not doing this, I'm not in charge. So even the ones where it looks like the plan and the I wants to take credit, really set the I down and say, you can have credit for some, but there was a billion others. Yeah.
So this interesting point there, when there's something to be done
Yeah.
that will require planning,
Yes.
I don't think the answer is to stop doing things that require planning.
No.
Or
Don't
stop
Yes.
pretending to do things anyway. Or stop endeavoring. No, we can't just stop endeavoring. And most of the things that I do require all this intense planning
Yeah.
also. So then how do we, and we try to plan intensely and experience the project, you know, like Jennifer was saying, you know, with total, like super awareness, like I'm here, I'm doing it, you know. And, but that can't be it either. There's got to be some sort of way to, I don't know, relax and be present without trying too hard to be present
You do know.
with all these
You
little,
do this with your art and such. You plan, right? And
Yeah.
you carry it out, but from what you plan till when it's done, do those match 100%?
no, they don't match. No.
Yeah. So that was
In the
what
studio
the
is one thing.
in-between is.
In woodworking business projects is quite another, because that the level of detail in those plans gets much more.
Yeah, so the trick is, one trick is, the whole time, where did this wood come from? Where did my hands come from?
Yeah.
Where did my skills come from? Even you drop into those thoughts for a minute a day. For me, it really helps me.
Yeah.
Because you're pointing at something so important. It actually, we talked about this morning, if you get a chance to listen to Eric, and I answer some questions that are really similar to this. The more we're in a role with skills, and the I springs up ever more solid.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I have these skills and I have a named role. Now the I is really solid, and that's a difficulty, you know. So for a Buddhist practitioner, it's a difficulty, you know. But the cool thing is, there's the I sitting right there. The object of negation. That's what it's called in Gelug philosophy.
Really?
I see the object of negation. That is the thing to be negated, conceptually. And I just did it. I said, no, you're not. You know, that's a negating the object. There's no separate Ryan reaching for that cup and succeeding. Forget it. You know? So you want to be like that with it, and playful like that too, you know. So, you know, Jeff thinks he's doing all this, carrying it all out by himself, the wood, the sky, the sun, the timber, the saw, you created all that. Wow, you're something. Do you see what I mean? You make fun of it. And bring your self-centeredness out and make fun of it. Yeah, you're doing the whole thing. You're just all that. You know, saying, Barbara, you could do that with yourself. Yeah, you're all that. You know. Okay, we just have time for one more.
On the other hand, he does create all of that.
He does create all of that.
Indeed, a guy named Berkeley figured that out, and everybody laughed at him, right? The subjective idealism of 19th century or whatever, and and the Buddhists actually are saying the same thing, because it is all in Jeff's mind.
Yeah, but where is his mind? Is his mind named Jeff?
No,
And
coming.
it's isolated self.
I'm coming on it. Now we all agree that there is no such thing as Jeff, right? But who is?
Well, there is. He looks like he's right there.
Yeah, but there is no solid I.
Not the
right?
solid, separate Jeff.
And my question is, who is making this discovery? That's my question.
When Jeff does these
When
things.
Jeff figures out that he's actually not the
Yeah.
solid, who is
The conventional Jeff is involved, but it's so ephemeral. The conventional self. I mean, we do things. I'm talking to you. You're hearing. We have a conventional, everyday self. But as Lama Zopa says, and this is something to just meditate on, it doesn't exist beyond mere labeling. It is a merely labeled self based on a heap of aggregates that are constantly shifting. So it functions. This is the amazing, miraculous mystery. It functions, but you cannot find it. There you go. Where's that sound? Where did it go? But we heard it, didn't we?
By this virtue may I quickly realize Mahamudra and establish all beings without exception in this state.
Thank you.
Thank you. Zopa.
Thank you.
There's a
Thank you.
lovely book for those who want more concepts about emptiness, which can help. And then, of course, you have to let go of them and just sit and see what you experience. It's called Introduction to Emptiness. It's a paperback. It's not, like a tome that you're going to have to kill your mind doing. And it's by Guy Newland, just like it sounds, Newland. And it really helped me so much to just have a conceptual framework and then go, okay, that's helpful. Now what do I experience? But it really helped because it was, he makes it funny and he's very smart. Yeah. So,
Introduction to Emptiness.
Introduction to Emptiness, Guy Newland. Yeah.
Right, thanks.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay.